As a fundraising coordinator, I want to automatically send a personalized thank you email to donors whenever we receive a gift. The acceptance criteria is that given e-gift transaction, when the status of the gift transaction is set to paid, and that's two things. When we enter a new gift transaction and we set the status to paid, or if there is an existing gift transaction that we update from a status other than paid to paid, then we should automatically send a thank you email. One thing to note here is that if we were to create a new gift transaction, in the donor field, we could add a business account, or that could be a business account, or it could be a person account. And for a person account, we'll have the email field, but for a business account, we may not have a particular email for the business. And this, we could approach this differently. We could add a business email. We could query the primary person of that business and email them. For the purposes of this video, we're gonna go with person accounts only. And the expectation is that after we enter a new gift transaction or update an existing transaction from something other than paid to paid and save, then that automatically sends an email to the donor from the donor field. Let's go ahead and build that. We're going to go to the gear icon and then edit object. Load triggers, new flow, automatically picks up the name of the object and then opens a record triggered flow. We want this to run on create and on update, or on update. And then remember our rule of thumb to always select fast field updates. Now, if I were to select fast field updates and then search for send email, there is a core action called send email. It doesn't show up, meaning we can't use fast field updates. We'll have to use actions and related records. This send email needs to be run, needs to go out after the record is committed to the database, and that's why we need to use actions and related records. Let's stop this for a second and let's add some entry conditions. We almost always want to add some entry conditions. The conditions we want to have is that if we have a gift transaction with the status of paid, and if we have a donor that is a person account. These are the ones that we identified so far. One thing to keep in mind is that we may be able to think about some of the criteria before we build, but there are some others that will only make sense throughout the build, and there are some ones that we will only notice that we need to add after the build in the testing phase, or in the worst case scenario after we go live. And then there is that one edge case where something should not have triggered this flow, and then we can come back and update that entry conditions. So you can try to think about the as many possible scenarios as possible and add these conditions based on that. If you don't manage to get all of the necessary conditions, that's fine. This is an enhancement we can do at a later time. Let's go ahead and select just for now this one, and I want to specify that the status is paid. It must be paid. And then the other condition is the donor person account the donor must be a person account. If I search for donor, all I get is the donor ID. I want to check against the donor record type, and that's something we can't access with the first three types of conditions. In this case, that's why it's amazing to have this formula as entry, because now we can access the record type of the donor. And to do that, we're gonna find the triggering record, which is the gift transaction. And then from here, we can access the donor record. And from here, we can access the record type. And then we can access the developer name. And I'd like that developer name to be the developer name, the API name of the person account. Remember, always use API name in any background process because people might change the label. As usual, I want to go copy paste the API names so that I avoid any possible typos. I'm going to search for the person account object and record types, and then that's the record type for person account. Yes, the record type for person account exists on a different object. So we're going to copy this API name, and then I'm going to paste it here. So we're saying the record type of the donor must be person account, and then there is another status. I'm going to use the AND operator to have the second condition. And I'll add the second condition on another line. It's important to be as organized as possible when writing formulas and code in general. And here we need the status to be paid. We're going to look at the triggering object, the triggering record, the gift transaction, and then we need the status to be paid. Now, that status field is a pick list field. If I were to do this, it's going to tell me like, that doesn't work. Like you're checking a text data type against a pick list data type. That doesn't work. You need to compare like pick list to pick list or text to text. So we need to check. So in a sense, like a pick list returns a text. So we need to convert that pick list to a text, or check against check a text against the return text from this pick list. There is two ways to do this. One is to find the function called isPickVal. So we're saying check this text here against this pick list here. Another way is to just convert this pick list to text like this, and then check that return text from this pick list against this paid. And both of them will work just fine. I will prefer this one for only one simple reason that a colleague of mine shared with me and I liked, and that is this tells you that this is a pick list. You might know that this is the status field is a pick list because we looked at it before, but if you're looking at a flow that you haven't seen before and you haven't seen that field before, you wouldn't know if this is a text or a pick list. Seeing that it says isPickVal, then you know that this is a pick list field. So just like a clarity thing. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of this, and now it is isPickVal. Now the formula is fine. Down here we have when should this flow run. It is set to every time a record is updated and meets the conditions requirements. And this is not what we want to do. Like what this means here is that if someone creates a new gift transaction where the donor is a person account and the status is paid, then that's fine. This is going to trigger this flow to run when it gets created, and this is not the problem. The problem is when people update. So if there is an existing gift transaction, where the status is paid, like let's say this one. So this is a person account, and the status is already paid. And since the status is already paid, this person must have received that email when this was set to pay the first time, either on create or on update. Now, if someone comes back here and adds something in the description field, if someone does that and the flow is set to this, it's going to send another email. The reason is that it says every time a record is updated. We just updated it and meets the condition requirements, and it does meet the condition requirements. It's a person account and the status is paid. So it does meet the condition requirements, and we made an update. So it will send that email. We don't want that to happen. We want this to happen only when a record is updated to meet the condition requirements. Meaning before you made the update, the record was not meeting the condition requirements. After you made the update, now the record meets the condition requirements, which means it was not a person account and then it became a person account, or it was not a paid status and then it became a paid status. So it's only looking at the fields that we specified in the entry conditions only. We're going to go with only, and then we're ready to go ahead and send that email. Let's use the core action send email. There is other ways to send an email. We're going to use the core action send email. Send thank you email. Sorry, I have a thing with capital letters. We're going to use only some of the input values in here. Let's add a body of the email. And you could type down the body right away, like thank you here. That's fine, but it doesn't look good. A better way is to create a text template as a body. And a text template is a rich text. So let's add a new resource here. And let's select a text template. I'm going to give it the name text template underscore email body. And we have two options here. One of them is rich text. So you can type down hello first name. I'm gonna add the first name in a second. Thank you for your gift, and then some signature. You can do that, and then you can customize this with these buttons down here. And if you need like the first name, you can access a resource here, and we can access the global variable record. That's the gift transaction that started this flow. And from here, we can access the donor, and then we can grab the first name. This is called dot notation, by the way. So with the dot notation, we can access the fields of a record. So this is something you can do. Another thing you can do, you can switch this to plain text. And this is where you can write HTML and CSS. And this is just a way to write web applications and websites. If you're not familiar with plain text, feel free to use rich text. If you have some familiarity with HTML and CSS, you can use it. If you are not familiar with HTML, but you still want to write something fancy, you can use ChatGPT, and I'll show you this right now. I have something that I already asked ChatGPT to write. Write a nice email body, an HTML, and inline CSS. Inline CSS means that you write it in the same file. You don't write it in a separate file. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy the body from that. So that's just the body from the HTML. And then I'll paste it here. I'll delete everything and I'll paste that. And then I'll go back to rich text. And now you see it looks somewhat better. Now you're gonna come here to all the places where it says, you could do it probably here or there, it doesn't matter, where it says merge fields, and then we can replace these. So this is the recipient name. We're gonna replace this with donor first name. And then you can repeat this for all the merge fields in here. So that's the text template. It's removing the CSS when I switch, but I think it's working fine. It's gonna work fine once we actually send that email, and we'll see in a minute. So that's the body. Now we could use log email on send, and what this is going to do is on the activity timeline of the donor, or in the activity timeline of the gift transaction as well, that email is gonna show up here. We didn't have that in the past, and it's a fairly recent release where we could log these emails in here. So let's take that, and we basically just want to say yes, please do. Yes, true. We're gonna set this to true to yes, log it. And if we do that, then we're gonna need to tell the flow where to log that. And we have two places. The first one is the recipient ID, that's the donor. So we're gonna need to enter the donor ID here. So that's the triggering gift transaction, and then donor ID. I'm gonna call out something here. When you see when you access resources like this, you're gonna see two things, like donor ID and then donor ID. The one with an arrow, this is the one that will allow you to access the fields. That's the dot notation. This one is just the ID. So you could grab the ID like this, or you could access the donor and then contact ID, and they are the same thing. Both of them will give you the ID of the contact. The related record ID here, that's referring to the recipient is the contact or the person account. The related record is something other the individual, like the gift transaction. So we want to log this against the gift transaction, which is just ID. Gift transaction ID. There it is. You almost always want to set this to rich text to true. We need it to go in rich text format, not in plain text. And we need a subject. Let's say that's thank you. Thank you for your donation. You could also use a text variable here or a text template. And then line breaks. Yes, we also want line breaks. We're going to set this to true. Let's save this. And auto send thank you email. Okay, let's activate this. And then I'm gonna go to the gift transaction that we had open. And I'll just open Sarah and update Sarah's email to be my personal email. Where is the where's the email? There it is. Email. So that's my personal email. Let's go here. So that's Sarah. This one is paid. Let's create a new gift transaction from Sarah Nash. Sarah Nash. Anything. And set this to paid right away. Completed today. 50. Payment method, anything, and save. Let's see what we get. So saved successfully, no errors. Does that mean that we got an email? Yes, we got an email. We lost the formatting, some of the formatting. We got the subject here. Thank you for your donation. That's right. This is the one from the text body itself. The Sarah merge field came successfully. Let's try a different scenario where I'm gonna clone this. And I will set this to unpaid. This is a new one now. I want to set a test from an update scenario and not a create scenario. Let's clear this and let's save. Now let's go ahead and update this to paid. Now we're testing an update scenario and we should expect another email. There it is. So we got another email, which is good. Now, what we just did is a positive case, and you notice now the email is logged here on the gift transaction. And if I go to Sarah, we still have open. Let's refresh this. We see that's the fundraising timeline. I need the activity timeline. Where is the activity timeline? Activity timeline. Let's open Sarah in a different app. Let's say philanthropy. And then we need counts. Oh, or I'll just Sarah. There is no H. I'll just add the activity timeline here. Might be there and I'm just not seeing it. Activities. I can already see the two emails here on the Lightning page. So we confirmed that we confirmed a positive case where we sent an email when we set the status to paid, and we received these two emails and they are logged on the contact and on the gift transaction. There is a negative case as well. Remember, we set this to run only when these conditions are met. Now, if I were to set some descriptions here and save, the expectation is that no email is sent. So this is what we need to confirm. This is a negative test case now. So we should not receive an email. I'm just going to refresh a few times. That's it. No email is coming. That's all there is.